The town of Plainville. Established in 1721 at the geographical center of Connecticut.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Town Council meeting. Today is Monday, December 17th, 2018. It's nice to have a full house. It's always great to see everybody here. We begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll ask Councilman Nazo to please lead us in that if you'll all stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Everybody all set? Okay, the first item on our agenda is presentations, and this is always one of our favorite moments of the year when we have the fire prevention poster contest winners here with their moms and dads and families to be recognized. It's a contest that our fire marshal, Larry Sutherland, hosts every single year. It's a teaching moment for children to be aware of fire safety issues, especially this time of the year where it can become a little bit more challenging sometimes. So this is a great time, and what I'm going to do is ask our Fire Marshal Sutherland to please come to the podium, and he'll be assisted by Councilman Nazo.
Good evening, Town Council, Town Manager Lee, audience, all the residents of Plainville and their families. This is the 35th annual fire prevention poster contest that's been held in this town every year since it started in the state of Connecticut. Every year we ask the teachers to certainly get involved with the students' artwork, and we get them to participate. We had 331 kids this year out of the 4th and 5th grade do this challenge this year of the artwork. So I'm going to present. We have 13 winners tonight. Linden Street School, we have 4th grade Samuel Moore. And as you get your packet and your poster back, I ask that you stand up in front of the Town Council here and you hold your poster up till we're done. Fifth grade Linden Street School, Kylie Grulin. Toffland School, 4th grade Gianna Fassold. Mason Gopp. Nolan Cook. Fifth grade from Toffland School, Nicole Plord. Mia Palea. And Brooke Kruppa. Wheeler School, 4th grade, Sophia Valente.
This one is.
Thayea Gomez. and Sarah Diaz. Fifth grade contest winner, first place from Elementary School is Kara Ahern. That goes with it. And fourth grade Wheeler School, first place is Misha Kovac. Okay. So we had 13 winners this year. I think they all did a great job in our artwork. We're going to take the 2 first place winners and supply them to the state of Connecticut, and they do judging in a couple of weeks. And hopefully one of these is a grand prize winner with the state, and it's a $750 savings bond for the top place winner. So let's hope. I'd like to thank all of the teachers and the art teachers, principals that they really support this process every year, and we appreciate it. Fire prevention is the key. So let's be safe out there. I want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And I want you to spin around and see the town council and show them your posters.
Oh.
And make sure after you're done with us, you're going to turn around again and let your parents take pictures. So stay up there for a couple minutes. That's very important.
Those are very, very well done, and congratulations on winning this contest. I know that you've learned a lot by making your posters. You're going to keep your family safe, and you're going to keep your home safe. So they are beautiful, and thank you so much for coming here tonight and showing them to us. Congratulations.
All right, you guys turn around, let your parents take some pictures.
Very good,
now.
thank you.
I know how happy
Thank you.
it's making some
The
of
2
you.
first place winners, just have them fill out the form with the poster and get it back to me before the end of the night, please, so I can submit it to the state. Thank you. And with that, thank you, Town Council, appreciate it. And
Thank you.
just jumping ahead, I certainly would like to show you my support for the bid on a new fire pumper to replace engine 1. I backed it out today, and we need to replace it. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Don't forget your envelopes.
Okay, we're going to take a little pause in case the contest winners and moms and dads need to go along. Thank you very much for coming tonight.
Beautiful.
We have to add something, Deb, to the agenda. Let's see. So we need to add,
Oh, that must be something else.
Oh, that's a different one.
so once you're all settled here,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
can you add this motion? Is that agreement?
Or
They have to be added
under appointments and
under
resignations.
appointments.
Okay,
So if you can do that after we get settled.
okay.
Still thinking about that camera.
Okay.
Glad somebody recorded. I'm glad
So you want
I
me
don't
to
know
do
who
that
did it.
first?
It's not me.
I didn't even figure they'd pick.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just got back to him last week, so, you know.
You didn't have
You might see it back from Richmond in a couple weeks. Yeah, maybe a couple.
He was supposed to call me like a long time ago and tell me it's interesting.
Okay, if everybody's all set, we'll continue with the rest of our agenda.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Motion to add 2 appointments to Section 5 of Number 5, a constable appointment, and number 6, Inland Wetlands Commission appointment.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right. We do not have a public hearing this evening, so may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, please?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Motion to approve the minutes for November 19th, 2018 regular meeting and December 3rd, 2018 special meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Announcements and reports. Do we have any announcements or reports to make tonight?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Last week was the second week of the month, so I attended the 3 groups to which I'm the liaison. The library trustees on Tuesday, Conservation Commission on Wednesday, and Committee on Aging on Thursday. All 3 groups, of course, are working on the budget for FY20. And I just want to do one highlight that's actually a joint project between the public library and the senior center. Beginning in January, the library is going to be doing a series of programs on site at the senior center, letting people know about library services, going into some of the digital resources, ebooks and databases. They'll be able to issue library cards on site. So it was kind of neat to have a joint thing going on between 2 of the groups. And I think it's going to be part of the library's goals of doing more outreach. So thought that was rather exciting.
Great. Anybody else have anything to report? I had 2 events that I was able to attend since our last meeting. One of them, I represented the council at the downtown merchants tree lighting ceremony. It's always it's a nice event that's coordinated through our Chamber of Commerce along with our fire department, because they are very nice and they're a big part of what goes on when we light the tree, and Santa comes in on the truck, and there's cookies and cider. So as usual, it was well attended. The children have a great time, and it went off flawlessly. So thanks very much for all that you do, and to the Chamber and the Merchants Association. There's always my message is always shop locally if you can. Our local businesses really appreciate your support. That's the kickoff to the holiday season, so if you can do that, it certainly supports our local businesses. The other meeting that I attended was the Board of Education meeting. My only report to the Board of Ed was that we recently recognized the Plainville boys soccer team in their Class M championship win. I told them how happy we were that they came to our meeting. We had proclamations for every one of the students, and it was a great recognition for a group of young people that work very hard, not only at their athletics, but at their academics, and they participate in community activities as well. So the Board of Ed also recognized them. So the soccer team has been eating a lot of cake lately, but I'm sure they're young and they'll work that off very quickly. So I was able to report to them that we did recognize them at that time. If we have no other reports, anybody else? Okay, thank you. We'll move on to appointments and resignations.
Madam Chair, motion to appoint Justin Barrington to the position of police officer effective December 31st, 2018, and as a condition of continued employment, he must successfully complete all aspects of the basic police officer training program at the Connecticut Police Academy and the Plainville Police Department Field Training Program.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? I'm going to ask the chief to come up and say a few words. So why don't we do that right now? The chief's going to come up and speak to us about our new potential police officer. Hello, Chief.
Justin, could you come up with me? Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce to the council entry-level police officer candidate Justin Barrington for your consideration. Justin was born and raised in Plainville and is a graduate of the Plainville school system. He is currently working on his associate's degree in criminal justice at Tungus Community College. Justin is currently employed by the town of Plainville in our Buildings and Grounds Department, where over the last 13 years, he has earned a reputation as a dependable, hardworking person, someone who takes direction very well, and his assignments very seriously. Justin has completed and passed all of the required entry-level test processes during the interviews. He has impressed everyone with his strong desire to serve Plainville and his strong work ethic. I personally find Justin to be polite, friendly, and approachable. I believe he will make an excellent addition to the force. Therefore, I am recommending Justin Barrington to be approved for our open and funded entry-level police officer position. If you approve, he will attend the Police Academy December 31.
Great, thank you for those words.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to have our new police officers on board. So at this point, I will ask for a motion to approve Justin as our newest police officer. We have the motion, we had a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. Do you have his badge?
Father's slowly going to make his way up.
We are very happy, and thank you for staying with the town of Plainville. Certainly being a police officer is a demanding, challenging, and, it takes a lot to do that. And we do appreciate all of our police officers. They put themselves in the line of duty and potential harm. So, having said that, I wish you all the best in your career. I wish you great success at the academy. I have your badge, and it looks like you have somebody who's going to pin it for you. Wonderful. Congratulations
Thank you very
again.
much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There you go.
Long enough nail. Show off. Want to know, pal? Joe. Oh. I ain't gonna bother looking at her. Sure. Thank you.
Very grateful for this opportunity. I've been working really hard. I thank my family and friends, Robert, Shirley, the chief, for having confidence in me. I'm just very excited for this opportunity and to stay in this community. So thank you very much.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, your duties as a police officer for the town of Plainville to the best of your abilities, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations, Officer Barrington.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations again. Okay, we have some more appointments.
Yeah, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Motion to appoint David King, 88 Trumbull Avenue, as an alternate member of the Aviation Commission for the term expiring October 31st, 2021.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Madam Chair?
yes.
Motion to ratify the town manager's appointment of Devin Tyrell, 174 West Main Street, to the Conservation Commission for the term expiring January 15th, 2022.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I would just like to point out that I think Devin is particularly well qualified for the position. She has her bachelor's degree in environmental geography from CCSU. She interned with DEEP while she was at college, and I think it's exciting to have young people willing to get involved.
Awesome. Is this Mrs. Terrell's daughter?
It's Mrs. Tyrell's daughter.
Becky Terrell?
Yeah, and Devin has been attending meetings of the Conservation Commission already and has already knows what's going on. It's a dedicated group of people, and I think she'll be another dedicated member.
Great. I wish her all the best.
Madam Chair?
We take a vote.
Are there any other
To vote, yeah.
comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Madam Chair?
yes.
Motion to accept with regret the resignation of Rita Douye from the Committee on Aging.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? I would just like to ask if we could send a letter of thanks to Rita. She has been a longtime member of that commission, and I'm sure she will be missed in the duties that she performed there.
Will do.
Thank you. There are no further comments. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Madam Chair?
yes.
Motion to appoint Ross Zettergren as a constable for the term ending November 5th, 2019.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
He'll do that.
Go ahead.
Yep.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jesse.
Motion to appoint David Garuski as a regular member of the Inland Wetlands Commission for the term ending January 7th, 2021.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Are there any other appointments or reappointments tonight that are not listed on our agenda? Okay. Thank you for that. Moving on, Board of Education, I don't see anybody here for a report, so we'll catch up with them the next month. Our town attorney's not here, so Robert, we're on to your report.
Thank you. First item I have is the fire department apparatus. On November 29th, 2 bids were received for the new fire pumper apparatus to replace engine 2. Money for this replacement was authorized at a referendum held earlier this year. The low bid was submitted by Greenwood Emergency Vehicles of North Attleboro, Massachusetts, in the amount of $640,484. The second bidder, Bulldog Fire Apparatus of Basra, Connecticut, submitted a price of $674,670. The fire truck committee met 4 times after the bids were received and reviewed both bids and determined that the Greenwood bid did not meet the required specifications. The committee is requesting that the town council authorize them to negotiate with Bulldog Fire Apparatus to bring the proposal amount closer to the $600,000 estimate. The chairman of the fire truck committee, Assistant Chief Tom Oshini, is here this evening along with several committee members to detail their recommendations and to answer questions regarding the same. There is an item under new business that would authorize the fire truck committee to negotiate with Bulldog Fire Apparatus for the replacement of engine 2 and recognize that they were the lowest responsible bidder that met the specifications. Once those negotiations are completed, the committee would return to a future meeting and present the results to the town council.
Okay.
Before I ask Assistant Chief Moschini to step forward, I'd like to ask Chief Kevin Toner to step forward. He has at least one announcement to make before he introduces Tom Moschini to bring forward to talk a little bit about the fire truck committee's recommendations. So with your permission, I'd like to ask
Sure.
Fire Chief to step up.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Chief.
I just wanted to bring up a point tonight. Recently, on 12/7, the first Friday in December, the fire company elects its officers. We've had some new officers come into the rank and file this year, and I kind of wanted to bring that up. Kurt Lord did not run for captain, so Dave Massey put his name in for captain. He made captain. He is going to be our captain. The officers below that are First Lieutenant Bill Gammon, Lieutenant John Miska, Lieutenant Paul Brusso, Lieutenant Tom Moschini Jr., that's a name that you're familiar with, I'm sure, and Lieutenant Doug Maccarelli. In addition to that, we typically offer the outgoing captain the second assistant chief position. So I'll be sending you a letter to move Kurt up to the second assistant chief position. And in that vein, I'd like to thank Bob Planetta, who did a wonderful job over the last several years assisting the fire department. He was a good trooper. He couldn't be here tonight. He's sick. But I'd like to thank Bob for all his hard work. He put in a lot of effort to help us out. So that's going to be our roster of officers for the next year. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Generally, we ask the council to take some type of action. We'll schedule that action for your next council meeting.
Okay.
Official, you know.
Okay,
I'll send a letter.
that's
Yeah.
fine. So we're going to chat about the bids?
Well, I think, Tom, you're
Yes.
ready to give at least a report?
Yes.
The council does have copies of your minutes, so they were able to review.
Okay.
So.
Just for a review, I'm Deputy Fire Chief Tom Moschini. I'm also chairman of the Engine 2 Replacement Committee. We've been meeting for approximately 1 year now with a total overall hours of almost 160 hours put into this. We met with different Ford truck manufacturers, did dog and pony shows with their trucks. Worked really hard on getting the bid, trying to get the safest truck for our firefighters, safest truck for the town, and for a reasonable price. We went through, we took the bids back 2 weeks ago, We met every day of the week to go through these two bids that we got back. And our recommendation was to go with the Bulldog KME apparatus. Reason why we're going with the KME, which seems to be a little bit more pricey, is the E1 had missed quite a few different items in their spec that didn't meet to what we wanted. One of the first ones they missed was a 3% contingency fund. The contingency fund is put in there so we can actually make changes, go through the truck. Any changes we've had will come out of that 3% contingency fund. What is not used in that contingency fund is forwarded back to the town of Plainville. E1 did not do that at this time. KME did. So if you add the 3%, which comes out to be almost $20,000, it puts KME and E1 almost dead even price-wise by about maybe 15, 14 grand. A lot of the changes that we put in here in our spec, one of the manufacturers didn't even come close. It was like they didn't even look at our spec. We spec'd out lighting, we gave them numbers, what we wanted in there, and they more or less did what they wanted to put in here. KME came out with only a few exceptions, told us why they had to make exceptions. We felt comfortable at this time to move forward with the KME spec. Our house is full of KMEs right now. Recently, we just had a 1994 tower ladder break down last year. It was out of service for 6 to 7 months. KME came and took that like it was brand new, like it was warranted, which it wasn't. Fixed that truck to the specs and then put it right back online. And so we've had a good relationship with them, and we hope to continue that relationship. With the bid, we thought the KME bid was very professionally done, and we think it's actually the best buy for the town's money.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Deputy Chief Machini? Is there any chance we can get KME to come a little closer to what we were hoping? I mean, how did we come up with the 600,000? I guess that's a good starting point. Was that
they all knew that, we still have money left over for the ladder. So the less we take from the pumper, the more we'll have to come in with the ladder. Right now, it looks like we have more than enough to buy this truck the way it is and fulfill the ladder obligations for that price. We'll have left about $1.4 million to buy a ladder out of that 2.1 mil that was referendum to us.
But we won't know that, right, until you go out to bid for that piece of equipment also?
Yeah, well, we could probably get a good idea if we can get a PO going on the KME, and in reasonable talks with KME. I definitely think that we can very easily come under that budget.
Okay, so what's the next step? How long is this going to take now once the bid is awarded? When do they start building it, and how long is that going to take?
If we go with the KME bid, KME specs, it's about 390 to 420 days. And that moves up and down depending if somebody signed 10 contracts ahead of us or not. They're thinking about a year, so it'd be about a year from now. But it doesn't start till you sign the actual contract once we have the PO written. And that'll take place, if we do buy the KME, that'll take place in Pennsylvania with the first meeting, kickoff meeting, to go through the whole spec. And then whoever has to sign off on it, whether it's the town manager, the chief, or the council.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Obviously, this is my first go-around with being on the council and we're building a truck. Historically, what are we using of that contingency fund? I mean, I'm not going to...
For extra things, if they can't...
No, but what percent? So if we're putting 3%...
It's a 3% of the price of the truck.
Historically, how much of that are we spending?
It's hard to say. We usually get some sort of return on that. Mm-hmm. Things that they can't do. Mm-hmm. Things that they have to make a change because they can't do this, so we'll take a little bit out instead of having to come back, or every time there's a change, we'd be up here asking you for a couple more dollars. Mm-hmm. So if we use it this way, we can pick and you're talking a couple thousand here, maybe a couple thousand here, mm-hmm. and then If they do something differently, that comes back to the contingency fund, and we get it all back at the end.
But historically, we're not seeing cost overruns beyond 3%.
No, we've never had that. Nope.
Okay. Well, I certainly like that the bidder factored in the contingency fund that we're asking for. I mean, I think that shows a level of responsibility right there, that the other one, to me, sounds like they're just trying to fly in with the lowest number possible, which, it's one of those things when you
Yes.
you get what you pay for.
Exactly right. And that's how we felt as a group, that the other truck really wasn't up to what we thought. We're looking to build a 20, 25-year truck.
Mhm.
And we kind of didn't get that feeling with the E1 truck.
Mhm.
But the longer, the longer we can get out of the trucks, the better off we are.
Thank you.
And KME, did you say that's what our other equipment is?
All
Or
of
do we
our-
have a blend of, I don't
Yeah.
remember.
All of our right now we have KME and one LaFrance. The American LaFrance is an 89. That's the one we're getting rid of. So if we go with the KME, it'll be strictly KME across the board. We just bought the Rescue back in 2012, 2013. And another good reason why we should hit KME is that they have a service garage right in Bosra, Connecticut. So if I give them a call, they can be within Plainville within the hour. Greenwood is out of Mass. It might take a little bit longer. We've used Bulldog, like I said, on the ladder. Absolutely great people to work with, no problems. Took care of us right away. And then they take care of their products.
I think it's interesting you only got 2 companies, or is that there's just not that many
we sent out
companies that bid
4.
on fire trucks anymore?
Yeah, we sent out 4, or 3 of them, and one didn't come back. And the salesman for the fire apparatus told me that they don't bid on jobs that are the lowest bidder, lowest responsible bidder. They don't play like that because they always lose. And they do. They build one heck of a truck, but you're going to pay for it. It's pricey, so they don't do the bid thing. And he was up front and told me right off the top, and I appreciated that. So it came down to the 2.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you so much
right,
for
thank
coming
you.
in and explaining that to us. I
Yes, thank you.
appreciate it.
Next item I have is the Planning and Economic Development Director resignation. Town Planner and Economic Development Director Mark DeVoe has accepted a position in Middletown as their city planner. His last day of work in Plainville will be December 28, 2018. Mark was hired in 2008 and has faithfully served in his position in an exemplary manner for 10 years. His knowledge and attention to detail will be sorely missed. On behalf of all the town staff, I thank him for his service to Plainville and wish him well in his future position working for the city of Middletown. I've had conversations with the chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission, the chair of the Inland Wetlands Commission, the chair of the Economic Development Agency. I'm looking, and I've had some conversations with the town council about moving Garrett Daigle up from the assistant's position to serve as the interim town planner, in the hopes that he can continue on as the town planner and trying to make arrangements and split the duties and not have one person do both economic development and town planning, but eliminating the assistant town planner's position at the same time. So I believe between that, we're still going to come forward with a recommendation in the near future, but that's the short-term plans for now. Next item I have is to ask Police Chief McAtania just to come forward and just give a brief report on some issues that have happened around town. And since he's here this evening, we figured we'd take full advantage of his oratory skills.
All right, so I guess the burning issue is the screws and nails in the road issue that's come up several times to both for our staff as well as I'm sure for the council and town manager's office. One of the things I'd like to just remark about is such a simple crime of mischief perpetrated by one or several people, but yet so difficult to determine who's doing it because it is so simple. There's not an abundance of physical evidence that gets left behind. And for those who don't investigate, you might think that, well, 50 screws in the road is a tremendous amount of evidence. It is, but it offers very little for us in the way of linking that back to one or more individuals. So what we've been doing is applying some techniques that I really don't want to get in depth about, but they involve surreptitious cameras. They involve people from town who are our point people, who we trust, who are doing periodic checks and assisting the officers in determining when and where the screws are in the road. We've had some complications with this exercise, such as people are getting flat tires from debris that normally is found in the gutter of the road. So anyone who's ever walked to school on a regular basis finds screws and bolts and nuts from accidents or from cars or trucks dropping them off into the side of the road. Those 1 and 2 incidents, we're still investigating them. They're time-consuming, but really not yielding any evidence for us, as opposed to somebody calls up and says, there's 100 screws in the middle of Northwest Drive at Perrin Road. Well, this is now an important piece for us. We see which way they spilled, the trajectory that they went in, whether cameras in the area are capturing the suspect vehicle, what's the method of dispersing them, whether they're throwing them out of the car one way or the other. And again, I'm reluctant to get involved in too much detail because I'm really not looking to encourage anyone to continue to do this. I think one of the things that bought us some time, we haven't had a sighting of a large amount of screws or nails in the road since December 5, and I'd like to keep it that way. And I'd like to just restate that whoever's doing this, if their intention is that they just want to cause some annoyance, if someone gets harmed from this and we're able to attach it back to them, it's a serious felony crime. So we put that out on our Facebook page. We put that out through different media outlets. Lieutenant Peterson was on TV a couple of nights, you may have saw. And we're just trying to send that message out that it's not funny. It could possibly cost someone their lives. And we certainly don't want that. We're working hard at it. I need you to trust that we're trying to do some creative things with determining who this is. If it were as easy as us just driving around and coming across them, this would have been solved. And one thing is for certain, if and when we do find the person, you will certainly know about it, because we're going to make sure that everybody knows, and we set an example with it. So other than that, we've had the usual car breaks. This is happening all over the state of Connecticut. It's happening in great abundance. I think Southington got hit with some screws and some car brakes just recently. So for our close neighbors, it is happening elsewhere. They didn't just decide to come to Plainville to do this. It's everywhere. I'm involved in forums that cover the state. The Connecticut Chiefs of Police put out their newsletter. This is happening down to Old Saybrook, out to Norwich, all through New London County. Now, everyone wants to know, why can't we stop them? Well, there's a couple of problems with it. We have in Plainville made several large-scale arrests with juveniles who were breaking into cars that were unlocked. And the rumor is always, well, as soon as you arrest them, they're out of juvenile court before the ink dries on a report. That is correct. And there is nothing that I could do about it, and there's really nothing that anyone could do about it. The Connecticut Chiefs are working through legislators. I'm going to be right up front with you and tell you that I think that the many legislators enjoy this second chance concept. The problem for me as a law enforcer for almost 40 years is that some people don't deserve a second chance, and no one wants to say that. But the reality of it is that some people are just not going to learn from their first mistake. And so we pay the price with insurance rates or whatever else that comes from these types of crimes, the lost property, the inconvenience. We have a following of people on our Facebook page that are absolutely upset with the Plainville Police Department because we can't stop the car breaks. So we are trying, and we are out there. We're ever vigilant. And on our off-duty hours, some of us are driving through town. Some of us are taking our own personal vehicles and driving around. And we're hoping that we're going to come across that bit of evidence that helps to slow this down. We're also finding, just to add some more misery to this conversation, we're also finding that the pool of people is very, very large. This isn't one or two young people from any special area that are coming in. We've started to look at it through the lens of, is it organized through social media? Is it perpetrated in a way that sort of the flash mob concept was, where everybody goes online and says, you do Plainville, we'll do Bristol. So we're trying to track all of this. Again, simple crimes, but very, very difficult to solve in today's day and age. And I'll add the last caveat to the whole scenario. Within the last year, we had our radar trailer valued at $10,000 smashed into by a pickup truck driver on Camp Street. And right behind it, we grabbed the films from the homes that have surveillance cameras, and that's standard operating procedure. Everybody knows we're doing that now. So we look at the film, and we could see the pickup truck in the film go right into the trailer and blow it to smithereens, so to speak, leave half of its bumper there, and right behind it is a person driving their Toyota, and they had to have seen this happen. And we've said to people, please just tell us. You can remain anonymous. Tell us if you took the license plate down. Did that startle you? Did you see this happen and you might want to work with us to solve this problem? Nobody's called us. So, we want it's just the time invested in these investigations, going up and down the street looking for videotape that has any value to it. The quality of the cameras, the quality of the pictures, the angle of the cameras, all of this comes into play. And I'm not up here to say that we're doomed, but I'm saying that we're working on it. Right? And if I could answer any specific questions, if you have any questions to, fire at me, please do.
Have any questions for the chief? The holidays, is there anything that we should be more vigilant about? I know there's always the, drinking and driving and locking doors and people losing, gifts and things and hiding them. Do you have any
I think, to be honest with you, I think that in today's society, we have to all be ever vigilant. And I know that that's kind of a phrase that gets beaten up a lot, but I know that as a police officer coming from a police family, my dad, a police officer, my brother's police officers, we always locked our doors. I can remember this going back 50, 60 years that, we were trained to lock the doors. I think people still today are so trusting that they leave their car unlocked. And this is what's happening a lot with the car brakes. Granted, some windows have been broken and some valuables that were in plain sight have been stolen after the window was broken. But by and large, it's an unlocked car door. House door open. It was always this way from 1981 when I became a cop. The single easiest way to get into a building is an open window, unlocked window. It's always the point of entrance. Unlocked doors, obviously very, very convenient. In fact, if you leave your window open, they're going to leave your TV through the door. So double deadbolts, things like that. But just common sense strategies that I certainly think that if you can afford it, a house alarm with video capabilities in a halfway decent quality one is definitely money well spent. I think just teaching the family and working as a unit within the family to lock our cars, to take our valuables in, to take personal responsibility for leaving the purse on the seat of the car and going in with the car open and then wondering why it was stolen. I think if we take that initiative, we could cut down on some of this. And yet, I'm by no means shirking the responsibility of the police. We want to be out there. We want to catch these people. And we want you to live peacefully, but we do have to do some of these things in 2018.
Okay. Well, I'll try to be better about ourselves.
Or just call us after the fact and we'll do the report.
Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just have one other item before turning it over to Scott for his report, and that is has to do with, and I know it's before Christmas, but I do want to, for those who the day after Christmas want to know what to do with their Christmas trees, this is your opportunity to learn. Christmas tree disposal. Residents may bring their Christmas trees to the transfer station on Granger Lane beginning on Thursday, December 27th through Friday, January 18th, free of charge. Trees should be placed in the designated collection area. Residents using a bag to transport their Christmas tree should remove it from the bag and dispose of the bag in their regular household trash. If residents are unable to transport their Christmas trees to the transfer station, the Roadways Department will be collecting them the week of January 14th to the 18th. Residents are asked to leave their Christmas trees at the curb by January 13th. Trees should be free of ice and snow and should not be left in the road or blocking any sidewalks or walkways. Further information regarding Christmas tree disposal will be posted on the town website. We will send out some press releases as well, and probably put some information on social media, and hopefully the word will get out, and we'll only get 500 phone calls instead of 750. So that's our goal. Anyhow, with regards to the financial dashboard, which is through November 30th, was included in your meeting packages and has been posted on the town website. And I'm going to turn it over to Scott, who put that together, and to briefly go through the highlights of that particular monthly report.
Good evening.
Hi, Scott.
So looking at the expenditures through November 30th, on the total town budget, we've expended 44.47%, and this is 5.59% higher than our two-year average, and these numbers come into the fact of the health insurance, so we'll see a little bit of a higher overall on the Board of Ed as well as the general government side for the town. Looking at the general government side for the town, we're coming in at about 1.55% higher than our two-year average, which is at 49.13%, while the Board of Education is coming in at 41.63% spent, which is 8.5% higher than our two-year average. Looking at the hauler tonnages, right now we're looking at about 169 tons over our two-year average. And moving on to overtime, looking at the police overtime, right now we are at 62.79%. This is 5.35% higher than our two-year average. The roadways overtime is coming in at 31.92%. This is actually 47.47% lower than our two-year average, and that's because of the Northwest Drive project a few years ago that kind of skews those numbers. Looking at the buildings and grounds overtime, right now they are coming at about 1.43% lower than the two-year average, which sits at 84.03%. And we have seen some snow, so unfortunately the roadway snow overtime has seen 8.58%, and our two-year average on that was 0. For buildings and grounds overtime, they're coming in at 9.45%, and the two-year average for that one was 0 as well. Moving on to the revenues portion, looking at all revenues, we have received through November 30th about $30.4 million. This equates to 50.63%, which is 0.62% higher than our two-year average. And our current taxes are coming in at about $26.7 million. This equates to 58.36%, or about 0.49% more than our two-year average. And the estimated unassigned fund balance as of September 30th currently remains at 12%. Moving on to special funds, looking at the recreation fund expenditures, they're coming in at about 48.04%. This is 7.07% less than the two-year average, while the revenues are coming in at about 39.92%, or 4.14% less than the two-year average. Looking at the Robertson Airport expenditures, they've expended 429.11%, which is vastly different than the two-year average of 52.88%. And this is due to the recent apron rehabilitation project that took place at the airport. And then for the Robertson Airport revenues, as of November 30th, they have received 0% at that time, but since then we have received some of the lease payments in regards to the new amended lease for the airport. Those will show up on the next month's financial dashboard. Looking at the WPCA budget expenditures, through November 30th, they've expended 54.14%, or 4.52% more than the two-year average, while their revenues they have increased by 1.77% more than the two-year average. They've received 100.14%. And the Plainville Library expenditures are coming in at 48.51%, or 1.62% less than the two-year average, while the revenues are sitting at 49.45%, which is 0.12% less than the two-year average. And moving on to the special projects, or the major projects, only a few of the projects have received some expenditures in November. There's been minor expenditures in the Cook Street reconstruction project in about $13,000, as well as the Northwest Drive rehabilitation project in about $2,000. And the Wheeler School project had seen some expenditures at about $220,000. There were some application for payments that have been approved by the Capital Projects Building Committee that will be posting in December and January. Those amounts are shown on the dashboard. And that concludes this report, and I do not have a happenings report this evening.
Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions for either Robert or Scott with their reports tonight? No? Okay. Do we have happenings? Okay.
No happenings this evening.
Nothing happening in Plainville?
I have no happenings
Wow.
to report on. So.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much for both of your contributions tonight. Next is our public comment section of the meeting. During this portion of our meeting, we welcome the public to come to the podium. Please state your name and address. You will be given 3 minutes to speak to the council. I have Catherine Labella who signed up, so Catherine, you would be first.
Catherine Labella, 50 Pierce Street. I oppose Alignment C or any alignment of the Farmington Canal Heritage Trail that will negatively impact residential neighborhoods in Plainville. I have 2 questions tonight. The first is, has the council or the town received an update regarding the 2018 build grant application submitted through CRCOG for the trail completion? And the second is, if so, would you please give us an update?
Did we receive anything? I have not remembered seeing anything to that. Robert, do we have anything?
We have not.
Nope.
Okay, well, that's simple. Thank you. I wish you a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and I also wish you a willingness to work with your constituents next year who oppose the trail to reroute it. Thank you.
Happy holiday to you, Catherine. Does anybody else wish to speak to the council that has not done so? Hi, Roberta.
Good evening. Roberta Loria, 18 Perrin Road. For the benefit of Carol and the town council minutes this evening, I would like to say that I oppose any trail or alignment that will be on, next to, or have an impact on any neighborhood in Plainville, especially Perrin Road, where it will be inches from residents' backyards. If there are no rails, there should be no trails. In November, I sent an email to Chairwoman Puglisi asking for statistics that I had been talking about in October and November that were given to show that there's economic development that is provided by having a trail anywhere. Chairwoman Puglisi kindly provided me with 3 presentations, and I would like to thank you very much for that information.
You're welcome.
And also, I sincerely hope that when you do get the information from CROG in this bill proposal, you make it readily available for everyone to see. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak that hasn't done so? Nope. Dave. Mm-hmm.
Dave Albert, 56 Hollyberry Lane. I'm assuming that the meeting you had before this one was to talk about the town manager's contract. I don't know if you can...
Can you say that again? I can't hear you.
Basically, has the town manager signed, has there been a new contract for the town manager been negotiated?
The town manager does have a contract with the town.
Yeah, I thought there was a renewal coming up. It's like a yearly thing, or am I wrong?
The town manager gets an annual review by the town council.
Yep, okay.
His contract is renewed year over year.
No, the contract is not renewed. It's open-ended. The contract is open-ended.
Open-ended, I'm sorry.
The salary is determined each year. But
Okay.
Okay.
The
Open-ended.
contract is open-ended.
Okay, and that's kind of my point, all right, is I pick up the Hartford Current on the 5th, and there's a nice story in there about the Windsor town manager, and they have his review by pointing system 1 through 5, certain goals that were set, how he met them, what he was good at, what he was not good at. And what's also key is there's something in there with goals for the next year. So I just think you guys should adopt something like that. It's transparent. You get people to comment on it. It's just, like I said, I think it would be good for the town. The other thing was the Norton Park extension of the trail. Has the town gotten a legal written opinion that it's lawful to put it through the park? A written opinion from an attorney as to if it's legal or not? I'm assuming no. I don't have to assume no. I know it hasn't been.
It's not necessary.
Oh, it is necessary. And you know what? There is, the agreement's right here. Go ahead and read the trust agreement. That is an important aspect that if somebody sues the town after that goes through, Norton Park could go to the trust, the people who gave, like the descendants of the people that gave it. So you need to get a written legal opinion that that is good to do that. And that's typical in the business world. Everybody does it. I'm done. Thank you.
Does anybody else wish to speak to the council that has not done so? Mr. Edmond.
Joel Edmond, 63 Hollyberry Lane. Season's greetings. First of all, I want to, again, emphatically express that I am adamantly opposed to any trail through town that doesn't adhere to the original Rails to Trails design. It is obviously negatively impacting many, many homeowners, traffic and environment, totally destructive to thousands of trees that lie in the wake with a poorly designed alternatives that outside planners have conjured up to close the gap from Farmington to Southington, 3.05 miles, no rail, no trail, and no thank you. Excuse me. It is an expensive want, not a need. The few people who already use the newly constructed rails to trails are handily getting through town on our well-maintained roads and sidewalks at no extra cost to taxpayers. The city of Hartford is, pardon me, I forgot my glasses, is finally waking up to the unnecessary chopping down and damaging their trees. They now understand how important they are to their immediate environment. They have a newly updated ordinance that specifically requires that anyone pruning or cutting down a tree first check for permission and permits. I don't believe that Plainville has a forester. If we did, this alternate abortion quagmire of an alternate trail idea at double the distance through Plainville would be a bust. Talk about a can of worms. And furthermore, I am wondering where presently acting DOT Commissioner James Redeker stands on this expensive trail project that could well cost up to $40 million. That money could be better used towards our deficient infrastructure. The state of Connecticut borrowed the money, $2 billion a year, and now propose spending $12.1 billion over the next 5 years. Revenue shortfalls in the state's transportation fund led Governor Malloy in January to put on hold
Mr.
more
Edmund,
than.
could you sum up? Your time has expired, please.
You know, my father was third selectman for 2 terms and first selectman for 1 term, and he would be appalled to see you shut me down. No rail, no trail, and no thank you. And he was very instrumental in bringing the town council form of government back in 1959. So you know your jobs are there because of him.
Well, I thank anybody that has volunteered in this position to serve the town of Plainville or the state of Connecticut, so thanks for his service. That's very nice. Does anybody else wish to speak that has not done so? How about this side? No? Okay. Joanne.
Joanne Edmond, 166 West Main Street. For the record, I too strongly oppose Alignment C and any other alignment that would affect Perron Road, Pierce Street, Broad Street, Hemingway Street, and into the park. Now, there is that saying that went around for quite a long time called "Wake Up America." I always said, "Wake up America, wake up Connecticut, and wake up Plainville." Because you people on Broad Street, you wait and see. If they go up the middle of Broad Street, that's really going to affect traffic on your street. Also, if they don't go up Broad Street and they go up on either side, you are going to have that trail, telephone poles, and your fences in your living rooms. So wake up and just visualize. People on Broad Street haven't been really paying attention, so you wait and see. It's just such a bad idea, this whole trail concept. We don't have an inactive railroad. If we did, it would be perfect. But we have an active railroad, and we don't have any need. Plainville people don't have any need for this trail. They can get through town, and out-of-towners want it. And I don't care what the out-of-towners want. I care about what we have to put up with. Also, it's going to be a budget line item. And you wait and see. It's going to cost the taxpayers plenty of money. So now the next subject is nails and screws. It's time that bad situation. I know the police are working very hard. I know that. I have a suggestion, though. We've got money for everything else in this town, but I suggest strongly that we have a reward set up, and maybe someone will say something. I'm sure it's been discussed already, but I think it's a good idea, because talk, walks, and money. Let me see, how does that go? Talk.
We got it.
What is that?
It's okay.
Talk, walks, and money talks. Yeah, talk, walks, and money talks. There we go.
Your time is up, Joanne.
Yeah. That's, I have to say it. There's a lot of things that are being said on television now. But when you treat the taxpayer like you do with just a 3-minute cap, that's not very nice. It really isn't. And like my brother said, my father would have been appalled. And
Thank you for your comments,
I've also said that the taxpayers provide the fuel that make the machinery run. You get my drift? Because what you do with this 3 minutes is a piss-poor way to treat the taxpayers.
Be polite.
Yeah, that's an okay word.
Does anybody else wish to speak to the council that has not done so? Last chance. Mr. Frangos?
I said it.
Lou Frangos, 10 Fairbank Street. I really wasn't going to say anything, but the trail business could just enlighten me. What is the time frame when this trail is going to start? The construction, the planning, the finalized planning, and the construction in years, or whatever the period of time is. It almost sounds like, as I'm hearing the opposition here, for the just reason, all right, that it's going to happen, example, in February. And I don't think it's going to happen in February. It's just, so can somebody enlighten me on the time frame there?
I would say it's going to be at least a couple of years. It's being engineered. There's a lot of work that's going on with Department of Transportation, the people that are involved, so it's going to be a while. I don't have a specific time. But
No, I'm not looking for specific. Okay. I'm just looking in range. We're not, in other words, it's not going to be come spring, we're working on a trail.
Probably not.
The other thing, perhaps, and you can enlighten me on this also, what I find perplexing is it seems to be the same people, for whatever reasons, are having a problem with the trail. I don't see a lot of residents in the town of Plainville protesting or complaining or asking. And that has me somewhat confused. If this is as disastrous as it's going to, supposedly it's going to be, where are the rest of the residents? That's just, now, when we get close to the time of moving right along, when we get close to the start of the construction, after the plan, is there going to be a formal presentation to the residents of Plainville? This is what we're about to do, and here's the time frame.
Yes.
Will be a meeting for that?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else wish to speak to the council that has not done so? Anybody else? Last chance. Thank you. I will close this portion of the meeting. Thank you for your comments. And we have no old business, so on to our new business items.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Motion to authorize the fire truck committee to negotiate with Bulldog Fire Apparatus for the replacement of Engine 2 and recognize that they were the lowest responsible bidder that met specifications.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Motion to approve the tax refunds is listed on the addendum.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Other discussions of interest. Mr. Lee, do you have anything else for us?
I do not.
Okay. Well, I would like to thank everybody for your kind attention this evening and for coming here. In addition to that, I wish you a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a wonderful New Year. Okay.
Madam Chair, motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.